Lucky number 13, Rebecca.
I know. That's what I told David on Friday. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is August Pro Workshop on the Troffer Transformer. My name is Rebecca Healy, Sales and Marketing Coordinator. We have Doug Nebelsberger, VP of Marketing, and David Gershop, Chief Innovation Officer. So at the end, you're going to have an opportunity to take a quiz. If you receive a perfect score, you're going to be eligible to win some prizes. So today we have two $100 Visa gift cards. And then I pre-ordered 10, well actually a total of 20, but 10 Solaris Solar cell phone power banks. So you can use the sun to charge it up on the solar panel. And then when it's not so nice out, you can just go ahead and plug it into an outlet. So
works great on the golf course or on a boat fishing for tuna. Just got to put it out there.
Yes, I hang it from my purse. Well, I'm going to, I think. People are walking down the grocery store. What's that, Rebecca? I'm like, so yeah, any questions during the webinar, use the chat box. I'll answer those. And then David and Doug are going to answer some questions live at the very end. So what are the goal of these pro workshops? They are to provide updates on our company, introduce you to cool new products, to provide some success stories, and then to test your knowledge at the very end. So enjoy this workshop.
All right. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, everybody, for being on today. I'm glad that you guys can be with us. Got some really cool company updates, and then David's going to take a deep dive into a brand new innovation from Light Efficient Design. So with that, first update is on our shoebox wall pack family. So earlier this year, we introduced you guys to some smaller designs to help with that guaranteed fit. But what I'm going to introduce you guys to today is the first item is our 8090 G4 HV. So this is our very popular 400 watt replacement lamp for shoebox or wall pack fixtures. The HV in the part number there actually notes that it is 277 through 480 volt. So we're really excited to bring this to market. We're the first ones to bring a directional lamp with 480 volt. I have seen a 480 volt corn cob lamp out there, but for parking lots, you certainly want to direct all the light down and out from the fixture to get the best efficiency and with the best light output. So look for that coming from us very soon. And this is just the beginning of our what I'd call our HV family. So be on the lookout for more HV products as we go forward. And the other exciting thing, and actually before I get to that, we have offered step down transformers for years now, and it's a great solution, but it does add a little bit additional labor to the install. So this is why it's really nice for us to introduce a product that's just that simple, bypass the ballast and screw in our retrofit lamp. So very exciting stuff there. And the next product, possibly even more exciting, at least I'm more excited about it, is a 1000 watt shoebox retrofit. So we've never had a type B bypass the ballast 1000 watt shoebox solution. We've had the LED blocks under the Remfoss brand, which is a great product, but it is a little bit more labor intensive, where you do have to remove the socket from the fixture and install some brackets. And this is just really nice because it's just that same technology of bypassing the ballast and screwing in this solution. So it's got basically an extra 1.5 steps is what I like to say. So what you see on the right here is actually the driver housing. So it does have an active cooling fan like most of our products here. And on the left side here is actually an LED array that's giving you over 44,000 lumens of light delivered down and out from your shoebox fixture. So the extra 1.5 steps are this. So step one is that you're going to actually adhere this LED panel to the lens of the fixture. So there's actually a 3M adhesive. You peel away, and then it exposes the 3M adhesive that actually helps the installer, mount it easily to the lens of the fixture. The 3M adhesive also acts as a heat sink, helps dissipate the heat away from the LEDs. There's a metal backing on the panel as well that helps pull heat away from the LEDs. So we've got 3 different things that are helping manage the heat since we are producing 320 watts of power, 44,000 lumens, and these are rated for enclosed fixtures. So the extra half a step is literally just connecting this 18-inch cord here to this quick connect on the back of the LED panel. So super easy as far as that extra half step. That's why I say only half step. So really, really great product coming out from us. DLC listed as well, just like the 8090 HV and the rest of the Shoebox mobile base family. And these products will be in stock by September 13th. So just in time for lighting season, when everyone starts to notice they got some lights out as it gets darker a little bit earlier. So great timing. Happy that we were able to do this, during this busy season coming up. Next thing, you guys may have already seen this from us, but either via Ted's weekly digital email blast that they do, or on our website. It's on our homepage as our top banner right now. But really excited to introduce Flex Color technology that we commonly use in our Remfoss brand of products. We're bringing it over to our Bollard retrofit lamps first. So just to introduce you guys to the new starting lineup here, we've got units all the way from 10 watts up to 24 watts, replacing 50 all the way up to 150. So that new 8037 top left, that's actually a new addition to the family just to help us widen out the offering. We always, pride ourselves on having the largest assortment of HID retrofit lamps. So this just helps us do that. At the same time as having the largest assortment, we're actually doing a big favor to our distributor partners out there for inventory management. So instead of stocking 3 SKUs, you're able to stock 1, as each lamp comes with a color temperature of 3,000, 4,000, and 5,000 Kelvin. We are moving away from 5,700 Kelvin that you see in these products today. We've made that transition on our Shoebox products and on our high bays over the years, as that's just where the industry standard is at 5,000 K. So really excited to bring these out. Also offers, the installer, the contractor, that in-field adjustability, where they think that they might want one color and then they get it installed, and maybe due to the lens of the fixture or just the application or feedback from residents, they want to go with a different color temperature. It gives you that option. And I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen real quick because I do have one of these lamps here with me. So I'll hold it up here close to the camera, but you can see that there are, just like the Remfoss brand of products, 2 different sets of chips here. One is 3,000 Kelvin and one is 5,000 Kelvin. And when you have it at 4,000 K, it blends them together. But here is just the real simple switch. So we have it preset at 4,000 K. And if you want to make it 3,000 K, you just shift it to the left. And if you wanted to make it 5,000 K, you just shift it to the right. But I mean, literally not even a second to do the adjustment there on the lamp. So really cool. I'm glad we're able to offer this. As far as timing is concerned, and let me bring up my presentation again. As far as timing is coming, end of the month, we'll start to see some inventory arrive, and then we'll have more inventory coming in middle of September, and then a very large shipment coming in the beginning of October. So we're very close to launching this product. If you'd like a sample, please reach out to us, and we'd be happy to get you one of the first samples over ASAP. So really exciting stuff here. And next is new product innovation. I guess we kind of talked about some new product innovation, but we've got one masterpiece that's been in the works for quite a while. So David, you want to hop on and tell us what you've been working on?
Absolutely. Before I do that, I love that. I just want to touch on how cool the 8091 is, the new plate retrofit.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I mean, I can't tell you over the years how many customers have wanted to do a little bit more than just a screw-in lamp. They wanted a little bit more of a module appearance, a retrofit module appearance, but not the extra labor that something like the LED block under the Remfoss line requires. So this is a pretty cool middle ground, because you can keep that socket. That's what that driver is going to screw into. That's really cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
Is that 480 volt as well, Doug?
So the product that'll be available in September will be 120 through 277. And then late in October, we'll be introducing a high voltage version of that product. So commonly see requests for that for parking lots for 400 and 1,000 watts. So absolutely, we'll have an HV version of that product too.
Really exciting, and nobody else has anything like that. So that's first in the world as far as we're aware of, having this plate style retrofit that sticks to the inside of that glass lens. Really cool.
And the last thing I got before I hand it off is, talked about these new flex color bollard retrofits, but really guys, that's just phase one. Just be on the lookout for more information from us, but we got a lot more stuff up our sleeve, just not ready to introduce it to you guys just yet. So
cool. All right, appreciate it, Doug. Let me bring up my presentation here. Like Doug said, this is a very exciting topic, especially for me, because I've been personally working on this project for this product for probably close to 2 years. And that new product is the Tropper Transformer. So I know that some of our reps, some of our salespeople have been teased with it. You've seen some of the information, the initial information about it, but I'm really excited today to introduce it formally. I know we have inventory coming in very soon. This can be a very high volume product for you and for us. Projects with 2x2s, 2x4s, 1x4s can be in the many thousands of pieces, and we recognize that. So we're bringing in initial inventory, but please let us know if you have any customers that want to take advantage of the really unique features and benefits that I'm about to go over. Let us know so that we can plan inventory-wise for those projects, because we understand that they can be many thousands of pieces. Before I jump into the Tropper Transformer, I want to kind of high-level back up and talk about the fact that we recognize that there are many solutions out there from other companies for a 2x2, 2x4, 1x4 retrofit, right? It's a hot topic. It's a high quantity item. And we recognize that there's a lot of solutions out there from other companies. We didn't want to do a Me Too solution. So we waited years to introduce this product and to design this product and to write patents around this product, to have something that's truly special, truly first in the world, and truly solves a lot of the pain points that I've personally experienced, having witnessed many of the competitors' products being installed and then also looking at the appearance of them after they're installed. So that's some of the background as to why we wanted to get into this product, the Tropper Transformer, to begin with. It's a little bit of a tongue twist. So, Tropper Transformer, patent pending design. The features I'm about to go over, we've written patents on, and this is truly unique, first in the world, first in the industry technologies. Available in 2x2, 2x4, and 1x4 sizes. It works both as a retrofit and as a new luminaire. What does that mean? What is that about? So it can be installed, if you have an existing 2x4 Tropper fixture, fluorescent Tropper fixture in the ceiling, you have an option with this product. Either you can go up to it, remove that old sheet metal, that old fixture, and recycle it, and put the new Tropper Transformer up as a new fixture, or you can keep that old fixture body, that old housing, that old metal housing, and this will insert up into it as a retrofit door kit. It's kind of the industry's terminology, a retrofit door kit. So it can go both ways. And because it can be installed both ways, both as a retrofit and as a new fixture, that's why we call it a transformer. If you think back to our LBI, our linear bar kit internal driver, the LBI, which is probably going to be our #1 SKU for 2020. It's been the volume has been extremely exciting. So we call that the linear transformer because it's a retrofit and new fixture for linear applications. So we're keeping that kind of that transformer terminology for products that can be installed both as a retrofit kit and as a new fixture. So really, really exciting. And why would that be interesting to an end user, to a customer, to a contractor? An example I can give you of what the benefit of a product that can be installed both as a retrofit and as a fixture would be, say you have, say you're in a classroom and there's 10 existing 2x4 fluorescent fixtures, and they want to retrofit those 10 fixtures. So they're going to use the Tropper Transformer and install it up inside of that existing housing, 10 of them. But maybe over the teacher's desk, it's underlit, and they want to put an additional 2 fixtures above the teacher's desk where there were not fixtures before. With this product, those additional 2 fixtures that they want installed, they could install them as new fixtures, not as retrofits, because there's nothing to retrofit them up inside of. But the appearance, the look, the cosmetic of it will be identical, both from the retrofit and the fixtures. So you'll look up from the ground and look up at the retrofits and the fixtures, and they'll look identical. With other manufacturers, the look may be a little bit different because they're not the same product. One-piece design, no brackets. In a minute, I'm going to show you a comparison installation of how, I believe I'm going to show you Rab, I'm going to show you Sylvania, and I'm going to show you the Philips EVO Kit. Those are the 3 competitors that have a door kit style product, and I'll show you how those install, and I'll show you how they have multiple pieces, multiple brackets. Ours is one piece. You take it out of the box, that's it. Whether you're installing it as a retrofit kit or as a new fixture, one piece. Seamless install, seamless look after it's been installed. What I mean by that is, again, when I show some of the competition, I'll show how when you look up at it from the floor after it's been installed, between the T-bar grid and some of the brackets and the LED retrofit kit, there are seams, gaps that can look dark or black because there's nothing behind them. This is totally seamless. It's a beautiful appearance once it's installed. It's the best looking door kit on the market, period, because of this seamless installation method and design. And then we have it available both as a volumetric style and as a flat panel style. So it's the same exact installation method, the same features and benefits. So when I go through in a minute, all the cool things you can do, flex watt, flex color, emergency battery backup, some of the control mechanism, the lighting control systems, all of those apply to both the volumetric and the flat panel look. It's the identical design product. The only difference of it is the volumetric, and we symbolize the part number of the volumetric with a V. So the Trafford Transformer volumetric, TTV for short, has that kind of volumetric center basket style where the light's going to come out in the middle. And then the TTF, the Trafford Transformer flat panel, F for flat panel, has that flat panel appearance. So those are the differences in the part numbers. Here's a look at the flat panel when it's installed. So we're going to compare this in a minute. When I show I believe the Sylvania kit, you'll see a gap between the T-bar grid and the old fixture and the brackets and the new retrofit kit, whereas this is just one plane. See that trim piece? It's just one consistent trim plane that when you look at it from the ground, it's going to look clean, it's going to look simple, it's going to look like it's meant to be there and not like kind of a finagled retrofit kit. So it's a really beautiful appearance. So where are these used? The Trafford Transformer is not used for any of these. The Trafford Transformer is just used for a volumetric, prismatic, or parabolic 2x2, 2x4, or 1x4 fluorescent trough. So it's a solution just for troffers, whereas we have other products, right, like the LED bar kit or LED tubes, which would be more appropriate for some of these other linear fixtures on the screen. So what are the options that your customer, say you have a contractor and he's walking into a dentist office and they have a bunch of 2x4 prismatic lens troffers, what are the options that he may go through in his head of what he could suggest to that customer to replace or retrofit those 2x4s in that dentist's office? First would be LED tubes, right? Pretty obvious. We know about LED tubes, type A, type B, type C. They can be a great solution. They can be low cost. Some of the, easy to install if you go with a type A plug and play. Some of the downsides would be that the energy usage might be a little bit higher because you're wasting some of the light. It's not going into a dedicated fixture designed for an LED light source, number one. Number two might be that the utility incentive may not be as high as some of the other options we're going to talk about. And then the third factor may be the appearance, right? So you get the energy usage of going to LED, but you still have the look of that old lens, that old fixture. It might be a cracked, yellowed lens, so you don't have a beautiful new appearance, even though you're getting the energy savings. The second option that you might suggest to that dentist office by the contractor may be a hardwired bar-style retrofit kit. From us, we either have our LBE, our LED bar kit external driver, or our LBI, or LED bar kit internal driver. Again, you're probably well educated on these solutions, but just like the LED tube, you're going to go up into that fixture, remove the lamps, put these kits in their place. You're going to get great energy savings, probably more than the LED tube. You're going to get a higher utility rebate than the LED tube. You're going to get controllability, right? You can work in motion sensors or dimmers where you can't really do that with LED tubes, but you're still going to have the appearance, the lensing of that old fixture. So pros and cons of that solution. The next potential solution may be a whole new fixture. So you remove that old 2x4 fluorescent fixture, and you put a brand new 2x4 LED fixture in place. That's great from a energy saving standpoint. It's great from a utility rebate or incentive standpoint. It's great from an appearance standpoint, right? Because you're going to get rid of that old fixture and put a new looking fixture in there. The one downside to a new fixture approach may be the labor and the waste that you create from removing those old fixtures from the space. And we're going to talk about in the next slide a key point that in some facilities like hospitals and restaurants and even office buildings and schools, we'll talk about a really major benefit of not breaking that ceiling plenum, breaking that ceiling plane and exposing the gunk behind it to the space. So a retrofit DoorStyle kit is a great solution for many customers because you get the appearance of that new fixture, but you get kind of the ease of install and not having to remove all that old metal and all that old waste from the building of an LED tube or a hardwired bar style retrofit kit. So a retrofit DoorStyle kit is a great solution for your customers to look at when they're trying to retrofit a 2x2, 2x4, or 1x4 kit. So again, what are the key benefits of this DoorStyle retrofit solution approach? Faster install. You go up to that fixture, you're going to gut it of the fluorescent lamps, of the ballast, but you don't have to physically remove that fixture from its space. So you don't have to undo the metal jacketed conduit. You don't have to remove that metal fixture. So it can be a faster installation. Less job site waste removal. So you can picture, if you go into a big building with, say it's got 1,000 2x4s, and you have to remove all of those old heavy metal 2x4s and put them on pallets, remove them from the building, get a recycling or disposal service to come pick them up. That can be a lot of work and a lot of cost for removing and properly disposing of those old fixtures. You don't remove them or dispose of them with a DoorStyle retrofit kit like the Trafford Transformer. Another reason may be that you don't want to break the ceiling plenum for code reasons. Chicago, New York City, those are two of probably other cities in the United States that have strict code requirements that if you do break that ceiling plenum, you'll have to update potentially the wiring and the fixtures and the ceiling grid to a newer code. So it can be a significant cost savings when you go to a DoorStyle retrofit kit where you can leave those old fixtures and you don't have to upgrade to the latest code. Not breaking the ceiling plenum for cleaning reasons is huge. Think about a hospital. You're in a hospital, you're in the hallway or an operating room of a hospital, and maybe it's a 50-year-old hospital. When you break that ceiling plenum and remove that old fixture completely and expose whatever's above the ceiling to that clean hospital room, that can be a serious issue. So a lot of times contractors will have to take that into account and cordon off areas, have professional cleaning services coming in during and after the installation. With our Trafford Transformer installed as a retrofit kit, you don't have to do that. So whether it's a restaurant, back of the house, kitchen scenario, or a hospital, or even an office building or a school where, you might expose asbestos or allergens or whatever gunk is piled up above that ceiling for the last, who knows how many years, you don't have to deal with that as a consideration when you install the Trafford Transformer as a DoorStyle retrofit kit. So those are some of the reasons: faster install, less job site removal, not having to meet the most recent codes, and then not having to break the ceiling plenum for cleaning reasons. These are benefits as to why you may want to go in this direction. Let's talk about installation. I promised you that I'd first show some of the competition. I chose to first show you the competition before I show you ours so that I can kind of end with how easy and simplified our product is to install compared to the competition out there. Let's look at the Philips EVO Kit first. I don't have anything, glaringly bad to say about the Philips EVO Kit. It's a good product. I know a lot of our ESCOs, a lot of our distributors use it, have used it for years. It's probably the most prominent name when we talk about a DoorStyle retrofit going into an old fixture. It's a good product, and it works well, it installs well, and the end solution the customer is typically happy with. But I think that we've designed a better mousetrap than even the Philips EVO Kit. So let's look at the Philips EVO Kit. First, here is what it looks like before installation. You can see multiple components. So here's the light engine itself. You get two of these, it's a volumetric style look. So there's the light engine, and there's these two metal baffles, and then there's some brackets, and there's even other pieces that I don't show on the screen, which I'll show in the installation in a minute, some turns and screws and things like that. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 5 or 6 different pieces need to be assembled kind of like a puzzle or a Lego piece, a Lego project to get the Philips EVO Kit to install. So step 1, you can see this is a 2x4 fixture in the ceiling. So there's the old body. In this particular installation, the contractor has chosen to do two things I want to point out. So he's removed the fluorescent bulbs already, right? You would have had 1, 2, 3 T8 fluorescent bulbs, so he removed those. But he chose to keep the sockets in place, which you can do with these kits, like the Trafford Transformer or the Philips EVO Kit. That can be a labor savings and a waste removal savings. So the wires are snipped. You don't see any wires going to those sockets, so they're probably snipped and kind of tucked in that cavity there. But he's chosen to leave the sockets in place. Same goes with the fluorescent ballast. So here's that old fluorescent ballast, and the term I've seen some electricians use is entombed in place. So again, the wires are snipped to that ballast, but you're leaving that ballast in place, and these DoorStyle retrofit kits will fit up in that fixture, and there's enough space. They're thin enough, small enough to fit in with both the sockets and the ballast, typically still in place. So step 1 is this bracket going in on one side. Step 2 would be that bracket, that same bracket installs on the other side there. So you can see the bracket here and the bracket over there. Step 3 is this kind of metal flange piece that clips into one side, and then you put the other side in, and you can see these half turns that need to be twisted to hold that in place to that other bracket that was inserted first. And then that light engine module, you can see that 4-foot light engine module has kind of like little hanging hinges. So you got to hang that in place, and then you got to press it up in there and click it in place. Hence why they call it the EVO Kit click, and get it to lock in place. So it's multiple pieces, multiple steps. So remember that. That's the Philips EVO Kit product and installation. Let's look at the RAB. RAB calls theirs the RT LED Troffer Retrofit Kit. So step 1, you can see there's this bracket piece. See that right here? That's going to slide in between the T-bar grid and that old fixture. So step 1 is putting that on one side. So it's already inserted there. Step 2 is to do that on the other side. Step 3 is to hang it. You can see it hanging it there. And then step 4 is to close those hinges. And I've circled those hinges in yellow. And then I want to point something out while we're on this image. You can see the corner of this product installed. See that? And see how the door kit is kind of sitting below the grid there. But over here, it looks pretty good. Over here, it looks pretty good. This is what happens sometimes with these door kits with the installation method like RAB, is they just don't look that clean. They don't install perfectly square or the same consistent gaps on every side or every corner. They can look kind of messy. And when you look at them from the ground, you see this gap between the T-bar grid and the bracket and the new fixture. So keep that installation method in mind too, the RAB style kit. Last, let's look at Sylvania. So Sylvania is similar to, I guess, the Philips that we showed first. You have a bracket that gets installed on the short end of the 2x4 first. So that's step 1. Step 2 would be to do the same thing on the other side. Step 3 is the Sylvania kit has these like filler pieces. See that right there? So step 1 was the bracket here. Step 2 was the bracket over there. Step 3 is this filler piece, filler bracket that gets installed right there. Step 4 is to repeat that on the other side. So there's that little piece right there. Step 5 is to bolt all this stuff together. So you got to take a couple self-tapping screws and put some screws into what was just pressed up in the fixture. Step 6 is to take that door and kind of place it onto this hinge mechanism. And then the last step is to take the latches. You can see a latch there, and there's probably a latch here and a latch down here, install that into place. So that's the last step. But while we're on this photo, I want to zoom in. See this right here? I want to zoom into that corner. Okay, so there's the zoomed in look. And this is what I'm talking about the benefit of the Troffer transformer being a clean, seamless, one-piece design with this patented trim design that covers all this up. So with this Sylvania kit, you see that old T-bar grid, you see that filler piece bracket, you see the door kit. So you have like 1, 2, kind of 3 different places that you see gaps or sheet metal. With our product, that's just one clean plane. You don't see any of those breaks. So I think from a cosmetic standpoint, there's a huge benefit to our solution. All right, now let's look at the Remfoss Troffer transformer being installed. And why did I put retrofit on there? In those previous things that we looked at, the Philips, the RAB, and the Sylvania, those products can only be installed as a retrofit, right? They cannot be installed as a new luminaire, a new fixture. Ours can go both ways, both as a retrofit and as a fixture. So first I'm going to show you the retrofit because that compares to what we looked at from those other 3 manufacturers. So step 1, well, before step 1, it's similar to the EVO Kit or the RAB or the Sylvania. In all these solutions, first you have to gut it and prepare it. So that means removing those fluorescent lamps. In this case, we're keeping those sockets in place. We're keeping that fluorescent ballast in place. We're just snipping the wires to it so that it's entombed in place. So this is now ready. And step 1 is to hang the door kit from the old fixture sheet metal. So it comes with 2 self-tapping screws, so zip, zip, and then it comes with these aircraft cables with these carabiners that are already attached to the Troffer transformer, and you're just gonna hook those onto the self-tapping screws that have already been mounted. So that's step 1, to hang it in place. Step 2 is to take the product and angle it up and push it into between the T-bar grid and the old fixture. And in a minute, I'm going to show you the feature on the edge, the patent pending feature on the edge of the Troffer transformer that acts kind of like a knife. I call this the knife edge of the product, this edge here. You're going to take that knife edge and slice the T-bar grid and just kind of press it in between the T-bar grid and the fixture. It's a very thin knife-like feature. So that's step 2. Step 1 was hanging it in place. Step 2 was sliding one end of it up into that fixture. Step 3 is to take a Torx screwdriver and twist either the 2 on the 2x2 or the 3 Torx expanding fingers. And these expanding fingers, what's happening when I twist this mechanism is it's going to take these expanding fingers, and I'll show them in a minute so you can actually see what they're doing. It's going to take those expanding fingers and press them out. And it's the fixed knife edge on this side, and then the expanding fingers on this side that lock it up in place. And then once it's locked up in place, you have that product fully installed, and you have it totally seamless. See how there's no seam there? See how you just see the nice white trim frame of the Troffer transformer? You don't have all those intersections, those gaps of all those different pieces of metal meeting. So that's the retrofit installation. Step 1, step 2, step 3. The only other little piece is that while the those Torx screw heads are powder coated nicely white, so they blend in, but if you want to totally have them disappear, they're a little 3M white vinyl permanent adhesive circles that can be applied to those screw head covers to totally have them disappear, so that when you look up at it, you don't see any mechanisms at all. The new fixture installation is very, very similar to what you would do with any LED troffer. So basically, you're going to remove that old fluorescent troffer. There's a junction box built into the back of the unit. You're going to do your wiring. You're going to just drop it into the grid. So it can drop right into a standard ceiling grid or a narrow ceiling grid. See how that just drops right in? So step 1 is you kind of angle it in place, and then step 2, you just drop it in. The same as any other LED troffer or LED panel out there, just a typical installation that you'd expect. So you can sell this product either as a retrofit or you can sell it as a new fixture, either way. So how does it work? How do we get it to install so fast and so cleanly? There's a lot of really cool innovation and engineering that's gone into that. Let's look at that knife edge first. So remember, when I go back to this step, I talked about that knife edge. So let's zoom into that. Here's that patent pending grid locking knife edge. So this is a long edge, knife edge, that goes along almost the entire length of the fixture. So in that 2x4 troffer transformer, it's almost 4 feet long. And the the T-bar grid is going to be sliced and kind of placed right here, and then the fixture is going to sit here. So it's creating like a sandwich, if you will. That's what that knife edge is doing. And you can see the design of it. It's not a flat knife. It's got this kind of interesting shape to it. The reason for that is it helps you first guide it in, and then it helps you, once it's pushed in, put a lot of pressure to keep this pressed up against the ceiling plane. And then on the other side, you have those Torx expanding fingers. So here that finger is in its retracted position, and then it's expanded. See that? So when you twist that mechanism, it's going to pop out. And again, similar to the knife edge, it's creating a sandwich between the T-bar and that old fixture sitting on top of it. And there's the Torx expanding mechanism. So that's what you're going to take just any Torx screwdriver and twist it. We had a question last webinar. Why did we go with a Torx style head instead of a flat head or a Phillips head? It was intentional. The reason for it is that on some of our initial prototypes, where we did a flat head or a Phillips head, the screwdriver can slip. You know, you're up there, one person, we wanted to make this a one-person installation. So on the 2x4, you'd have your hand, you'd slide it into one edge, kind of put your hand in the middle, and then you're going to twist the mechanism on this end, and then on this end, and then in the center, and then you can let go, you're done. But we found that because that, you know, if you're a little bit shorter like me, and you have that flathead screwdriver, and it'll be kind of at an angle because you're not going at it straight, you could slip and scratch the trim. And then we didn't want that. We don't want you scratching the trim because that's the beautiful finish, that powder-coated finish that you're going to look at. With the Torx screwdriver, it has to get pressed up in there and locked in place really nicely so you don't have the ability to accidentally slip and have it scratch. So that's why we went with that. Let's go over some of the specs. So every Tropper transformer has an integrated driver box. This is unique and cool for a product like this because if you look at the Phillips, you look at the Rad, you look at the Sylvania, if you were to turn those over and look at the back of them, they would just have an exposed driver without a driver box because they're only intended to install as a retrofit, not as a new fixture. Because we want to be able to have this go both ways without needing any additional parts or pieces ordered, we had to have a junction box right built into it so that you can bring your metal jacketed conduit right into there. Standard fits inside of there is our 0 to 10 volt driver, but you can order this with an optional Lutron driver. So we have you know about our C-Flex program probably for Lutron, and if you want to go into an existing system that has Lutron controls, Lutron dimming, we can make this compatible with that. Or the emergency battery backup, we can integrate into these driver boxes and into the fixture as well. Flex Watt, Flex Color are both standard. You've kind of grown to expect that from a Remfoss product. Doug just showed you how exciting the Flex Color is on our new HID retrofit solution. But on these products, you have Flex Watt, you have Flex Color, so you have multiple choices that can be made. And of course, all of your wattages and your color configurations, all those different configurations, every single one has its own unique DLC listing so that you can get a DLC code and a utility rebate for whatever configuration you need for your project. Let's talk about optional motion sensors and emergency battery backup. So for emergency battery backup, we can integrate that into any of the solution, any of the products, the Tropper transformers, either as a retrofit or as a fixture. And in the motion sensors, we have a number of different control schemes that we can integrate into this product. So our standard system is just a PIR motion sensor, daylight sensor, similar to what's in the LBI or the LEDCR, but it's using a PIR, passive infrared sensor. That's this little lens right here. The reason why we would use PIR, passive infrared, instead of microwave or high frequency, which is what we use on a lot of our other products, is that if you're installing a product like this in a glass office, glass walled office, or glass doors in the office, sometimes you can get false triggering from a microwave sensor. Whereas with PIR, you actually have to open up that door to that office and go inside. It's not going to pick up people walking by the hallway of that glass office. So that's why we go with PIR. We have a basic control, and then we have an advanced control where we partnered with a Bluetooth company called Silvair to offer a unique advanced control system, and look for a webinar soon to join to learn more about that. But we can also integrate Lutron wireless controls or Light wireless controls or any other wireless controls that your customer may need on their project. here is how that unit right here, our proprietary control, whether it's the basic one or the advanced with that wireless Bluetooth Silvair, that's how it fits up into the fixture. So it really cleanly presses up into this rectangular cutout that's on every fixture. So these can be installed in the field if you wanted them to be. So you can either order them to be installed at the factory, the controls, or they could be installed in the field. If maybe you made a mistake and you need a few more of them installed in the field than you thought, you could do that. So every fixture comes standard with 0 to 10 volt dimming, a dim to off driver, and a 12 volt DC power source. And we're using 12 volt DC to power these really small sensors. And the fixture can be used with either that basic PIR level control or the advanced Bluetooth mesh sensor control. They both look the same and are that kind of rectangular module. What are some of the capabilities of that advanced Bluetooth control? So you can dim the light up and down based on motion in the space. You can set up a schedule. So maybe you want these to never come on, motion or not, between the hours of 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. in the morning to not be falsely triggered by cleaning people or whatever. So you can set up a schedule. You can dim the light down based on sunlight in the space. You can group fixtures together. So maybe you're in a conference room and you want these 10 to always dim high and low and be on the same schedule together. You want these private offices to have a different configuration. You can do that via a really cool phone app or iPad app to commission them all together. You can add external wall controls. So maybe you need a dimmer or a switch on the wall to override whatever the settings are and be able to dim it lower in maybe a private office. You can do that as well. So really exciting, our Silvair Bluetooth mesh control that it can do all of these things, have all these capabilities. Optional plenum air return. So some ceilings, I see this a lot of times in old schools or old hospitals, that you have a building that the ceiling itself, the light fixtures, act as your plenum air return. So with our product, you can keep that same system going, and you can see these rectangular little slots, if you will, on both sides. That's going to allow the air to pass freely in and out of the fixture. So let's summarize the specs by looking at our design and comparing it to other products out there on the market. Bracket design, single piece on the Tropper transformer, multiple brackets on those other competitors. Universal Tropper fit, ours fits just about everything. We haven't seen anything out there that hasn't fit inside of yet. On other products, you'll see that it will say on the cut sheet that it fits particular fixtures only. Trim that covers up the air gap around the frame, that's seamless install. Ours has, others don't. Ours is a really fast installation. Some can be 5 to 15 minutes or more. Ours has both the flat panel and the volumetric look. Other competitors really only have one style, take it or leave it. So like that EVO Kit, it's available as a volumetric look. You can't get it as a flat panel look. The flex color and the flex wattage, of course, it's standard on ours. Others may or may not have it. And then being able to install it both as a retrofit kit and as a new fixture, we can do that like I've talked about a few times. Nobody else can do that. Here's a look. I just wanted to quickly show you how the part numbers work. So RP, that prefix stands for REMFOS, right? So any of the products under the REMFOS brand will be RP. TT, Tropper transformer. V for volumetric, or flat. F for flat panel. Then you got your size, right? 2x2, 1x4. And then looking over here at the flex watt, flex color choices. So on something like the 2x2, you can go as low as 16 watts on that flex watt adjustment switch, or as high as 28 watts. And then colors, 3500, 4000, and 5000K will be your selection, your choices for selection. So let's test some of this new knowledge. Instead of just spewing information out at you, I want to now kind of go through a little bit of an interactive tool here that we can look at a potential application and talk through what we feel would be the best product to apply to that application. So here is the scenario. We've got a parking garage over here on the right with some 4-foot vapor tights. Okay, that's our scenario. So which product would we specify? Tropper transformer, bar kit, LED tubes. What do we think? The Tropper transformer is not going to work, right? Like we talked about, that's just for retrofitting Troppers. So the bar kit, either the external driver or the internal driver, the LBI or LED tubes would be a great solution for the Vapor-Tite. Sorry, I know this was kind of a trick question, but I just wanted to kind of test that knowledge of what we went over a little bit before about that this is really only intended for a troffer, where we do have some great other alternatives for other products other than troffers that you retrofit. All right, here's the next one. So we're in a hospital hallway and we have existing 2x4 prismatic troffers. What do we think? Troffer transformer, installing it as a retro, or a whole new LED fixture? I would say the troffer transformer as a retro. Why? We don't have to break that ceiling plenum, especially relevant in a hospital where you can sometimes have to take pretty significant safety measures in order to cordon off areas so that dangerous things, dust, asbestos, whatever, gunk that's built up in that ceiling don't accidentally fall into that obviously very clean hospital space. All right, one more. We're in a restaurant kitchen. Again, some 2x4 prismatic troffers. What do we think here? So again, I'm gonna say the retro for the same reasons that we just talked about in that hospital. You're in the back of a restaurant in this very clean kitchen. You really wanna have to deal with cordoning off areas, worrying about if gunk is gonna fall off and into the food prep areas. No, with a product like ours that doesn't break the ceiling plenum, you won't have to worry about that. All right, I hope you had some fun with those examples there. Let's talk about a success story. So this is a K through 12 school up here in the Northeast, and they wanted to upgrade their lighting to save energy, but they also wanted to improve the aesthetics of the space. I'm sure many of us have been through K through 12 schools, I know I have, where you look up at those old fixtures and they could use some love. You know, the lenses, many lenses are cracked, some are yellowed, you got bugs up there. So they wanted energy savings, but they really wanted to improve the aesthetic for the students and the faculty at the same time. The old fixtures were prismatic lens 2x4s. They had a concern of asbestos above the ceiling plenum. This was an older school, and they had concerns about asbestos potentially falling into the classrooms. So they really didn't want to have to remove those old fixtures completely. A few places did not have existing fixtures. They wanted to add more light, but it was important to keep the aesthetic consistent. That's that example I kind of talked about in the beginning, where maybe, you know, here's an example of that classroom with maybe 10 existing 2x4s, but maybe over here in the corner where the teacher sits over her desk, there aren't enough existing lights. So with our product, they can retrofit these 10 2x4s as a retrofit, and then install the troffer transformer as a new fixture over here in the corner, and have the aesthetic be identical across the board. We got some great feedback. This particular ESCO has used a lot of RAB door kits in the past, and they really thought that the installation was faster and easier, and they just thought it was an awesome product compared to that other company they have been using. All righty. I hope that I was able to bring across some of my energy, my excitement about this product. It's an awesome solution to add to your toolkit, your customer's toolkit. I'm really excited about it. Like I said, that LBI has been like our #1 SKU, if not our #1 SKU for this year. I think it's going to be. So I'm pretty optimistic about what this is going to be for you guys sales-wise. I think that there are a lot of projects that can use the benefits of this product. And all of us here are really excited to start hearing about those projects and quoting them with you. So